is the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. Watch films with us.
So, this week there's going to be a clue going for what film we're watching.
What is it? What's the clue based on?
The liquid that I'm drinking. It's not dark enough, really. Should have mixed it with blackcurrant. Fucked that up, didn't I? Welcome to the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. I am Trevor Webb, and this guy right here is Gavin Rye. Gavin Rye, say hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm alright.
I wasn't, not you, the viewers.
Oh, alright, I'll just stay quiet whilst I answer. Hold on.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, glad to hear it. What about you then, I suppose? How are you?
Me? I feel so special. I'm alright. What have you been up to, Gavin?
Oh, nothing much. Nothing interesting today.
No?
Nothing I want to talk about.
Fair enough. Well, I've got an interesting story, so I'll tell mine.
Okay.
Well, as you know, near my house there's a kind of short rivery dike thing with water in it and ducks and stuff. You know that?
Yeah, I know it. I've been around there today, actually.
Oh, really? You may have seen it as well then. Because I was walking Storm earlier and I saw just a dead duck by the side of the river and walked a bit further and then there was another one. Thought, this is a bit strange. Kept going, another one, then another, and then another. And then, by the side of a river, I saw like an oozing Lucozade bottle. The lid was off and there was some kind of liquid coming out of it, going into the river.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was in that bottle, but it did not smell good. And,
You smelt it?
well, the whole area was...
God, sounds horrible.
It was.
Lots of people will get that one.
Yeah, it's one of those references...
To be honest, probably the majority of our listeners will get that.
Yeah. It's one of those references that I feel, you're either one of the cool kids and you get it, or you're not. And then you're not cool, unfortunately.
Like that story is what's judged whether you're cool or not.
In this world, it is.
I got a Christmas jumper t-shirt on.
Show us.
There you go.
Are you having the same trouble as me of trying to find t-shirts that you haven't worn on previous episodes yet?
A little bit, but I didn't think about it today, to be honest with everything. It's just what I pulled out.
With everything. You can't say with everything and then not tell us the story. So now, either tell us the real story or make something up. Go.
Well, I lost my keys today, and it's been very traumatic. That'll do. That's why I was by the river. I was seeing if they'd gone by the river, you see. Maybe
they just kind of fell into the Lucozade and kind of melted.
Could have done.
So, this week we've got a film chosen by Keir Mills. He lives in my shed. He's there all day, every day. And this week his film is a film that I'm not going to mention because he's going to do it. So, Gavin Rye, give a cheer for Keir. Oh, you don't cheer anymore, do you?
No, I quit.
What else rhymes with Keir?
Like peer.
Peer? Give a peer for Keir? That doesn't work.
Take a long walk off a short pier for Keir.
No, that's like the worst thing in the world you could do. Oh, look, Keir's coming. Go kill yourself.
I'd just fall in. I reckon I'd swim. I'd be all right, I reckon.
beer. Ooh, drink a beer for Keir?
No, I had a beer I had one last night. I got work tomorrow.
Gear? Right, raise. No. Shift a gear for Keir?
Show some fear.
For Keir. Again, that's not really the reaction we're going for. I want excitement.
Can't. Can we get to it?
I'm trying to find something else to pander to your. Oh, sorry, I don't cheer. 16 weeks in, I know I've cheered every week, but I'm going to stop this little lark that we're doing.
I didn't like it then, so, I'm sticking up for myself now.
You shouldn't. Don't stick up for yourself, Gavin. It's a bad example you're saying for the listeners.
I don't know. I'm growing tired.
All right, well, do a cheer this week, and then you've got all week to think of a new little slogan thing.
Go on then.
So I know you're not really all that keen on cheering, Gavin, but I'd like you to just try one last time. Give it one last one. If it doesn't work next week, we don't have to do it. Give a cheer for Keir. Yeah, next week we'll do something different. To Keir.
3 great days occurred recently. On the first great day, I suggested that the Cool Kids Film Club watch Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo and directed by Todd Haynes. On the second great day, Dark Waters was selected. And on the third great day, Dark Waters was watched. You are all very welcome. This movie, although being a critical and commercial success, seemed to me to go a little bit under the radar. That might have had something to do with COVID. Who knows? Well, we do. Yes, it has something to do with COVID. I only saw this because back in early 2020, I had a couple of hours to kill, and it was the only thing on in the cinema. Yes, I went to the cinema by myself, and it was good. So impressed I was with the movie, I then insisted that my girlfriend accompany me to go and watch it again. And it was still good. I then had it gifted to me on DVD. As I like DVDs, I especially like good DVDs. And, well, it maintained its goodness with ease. Therefore, I can ascertain that this movie is good times 3. Or rather, it's very, very good. Or excellent, if you would prefer a different superlative. So, if you haven't watched it yet, I must insist that you treat yourself to your third good day. And then come back here and watch this review, because this review may also be good. It may be. Dark Waters. Let's go.
So that was Keir Mills, and his film this week, as he's just stated, is Dark Waters from 2019, starring Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway. Yeah, and Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins, yeah. Bill Pullman.
I'm going to do this a little bit again, though, because there's a lot of pause in there. Starring Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway. Starring Mark Ruffalo? Fuck. Gavin, who's in it?
Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway, Tim Robbins, Bill Pullman. And it's directed by Todd Haynes.
What else has he done?
I've only ever seen one other Todd Haynes film, which I really enjoyed, Far From Heaven. But he's also directed Safe, Velvet Goldmine, I'm Not There, the film about Bob Dylan, Carol. He did a film years ago called Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story, all about Karen Carpenter's life, but made entirely with Barbie dolls.
You also mentioned Tim Robbins, who, when watching this film, I couldn't believe how quickly he's aged. It's been about 5 or 6 weeks since we watched The Shawshank Redemption, and we watched that right on the day of its release, right? So, like, he must have had some really good makeup in this.
Yeah. Jokes aside, I've actually always thought Tim Robbins has aged quite quickly.
Jokes. What do you mean?
Don't know. You know, jokes about his age.
So, I mean, before we go any further, I'm going to preface this entire podcast with somewhat of a warning. Actually, no, we're going to do a spoiler warning first. Go.
Oi, you! Do not watch this podcast if you have not already seen the film. It's a spoiler review. It contains spoilers. It's simple, really. If you want to come back on its that's up to you. But don't watch this podcast until you've seen the film. Alright. Cool. Cheers, mate.
So I'm going to preface this with a simple point that this kind of films based on real events, kind of courtroom stuff, where someone slowly untangles cases and facts and things. These films aren't for me. I didn't mind this one. I thought this was one of the better films of this genre. But if I'm negative at any point, that's why. What did you think of it?
I thought it was preface, not preface.
Don't give a damn. Preface, both work. Carry on.
I like these kind of movies. I like a good courtroom drama. Kind of reminded me a little bit, even though there's not so much or any courtroom stuff in it, of Zodiac, which Mark Ruffalo is also in, I believe. Just these films where somebody's uncovering something and we're slowly being told the information as things go along. I like films like this.
Zodiac was a film from the Cool Kids Film Club before we started doing a podcast. Some guy called Trevor Webb suggested it. He had never seen it before, though, so don't judge him.
Yeah, it's in my top 20 of all time.
Zodiac or this?
Zodiac. Fincher's best.
Your comparison from that to this is quite fair, I'd say. I don't know. I found it a bit slow. Did you feel it was a bit slow? Did you feel it was a good length? How did you feel the pacing, etc.?
Absolutely fine. Yeah, no issues with the pacing whatsoever. Never bored. I don't think there's any real wasted time. I mean, you could say maybe things slow up a little at the end, but it's very purposeful to show that things literally are slowing up for him as he's trying to move on the case and can't get any traction, or he's waiting for like scientists to get back to him, isn't he, for like 5 years or so?
7 years.
7.
Fair enough. I mean, I felt it took quite a while to get going as well. The first 50 minutes was a bit non-eventful.
Yeah, if anything, I disagree with that, because I think, I don't know how the real case panned out, but with a bunch of yokels going to a big-time lawyer to attempt to get what looks like a very small case going, I thought that Mark Ruffalo's character, what was his name, Robert, is quite quick with things. I mean, he doesn't do that usual, "Oh, I'm not taking this case," and then we get a back and forth from them for ages. He looks into it almost straight away. Like, he doesn't just completely disregard it. He looks into it a little and sees, there's something here, and things are on their way.
I agree in parts. I think that Rob does take the case on quite easily. It's more from that first time he goes to the farm, like seeing firsthand, he sees all the stuff wrapped in tin foil. From that point, we know there's something in the water. We know there's something, and we know he's kind of taking on the case. From that point up until about 50 minutes in, nothing really happens.
I don't know. I mean, what does happen. I mean, he goes to his boss, doesn't he, and asks if he can take on the case, and things move along fine, because there's a bit where he goes to see the farmer again. I quite liked where the cow attacks, and weirdly, the cow has a weird POV shot. Did you notice that?
Thinking back to it, I can see it in my mind. So I only watched it earlier today, but I didn't think it odd whilst watching.
Didn't bother me that much or anything, but it's just a bit strange. There's a shot of the cow coming like towards him while he's holding the gun to him. Then we get like a POV, and it just turns into a horror film for about 3 seconds.
Things happen, but I don't know. It's just the genre of a film, isn't it? It's supposed to be slow burn, kind of.
I think you're learning little bits about the company, because it's in that time that you find out the chemical company regulates itself, which is just such a bizarre notion. And I mean, you get that scene where he goes to where he can't get hold of, is it the head of the company, and has to go to a dinner that he's having. It's the only place he can find him to talk to.
I'm sure that's after the 50-minute mark.
And you're also getting little things in that time. Again, you might say this is over 50 minutes. I wasn't counting, but where the newspapers start to like play it off like, oh, not that this company are looking to bring down corruption, but they're like, their headline is suing the local top employee.
I think all of that's pretty much in the second half. That first half is very slow. And again, I think that is what they're going for. That's this genre of film. This is one of the things I don't like about it. But it's not about this film. It's about this type of film. So I can't really be mad at it. See, I'm gonna bring up Moon, which was an unpopular opinion a couple of weeks ago. I didn't like that. I found it quite boring and slow. In this type of film, I can forgive it somewhat because that's the type of film it's trying to be. Does that make sense?
Do you ever like a slow film then?
Very rarely. So that's, yeah.
Oh. I like a nice slow burn every now and then.
I like horror films. I love horror films. And my least favourite horror subgenre is that slow burn ghost story. Bored.
Did you not watch any of like The Haunting on Hill House? The Haunting of the House on the Hill House?
That was the original title, but I think they named it something else. I mean, I've never thought about it before, but it's a terrible title just because neither of us remember it. So sort your titles out, companies.
Did you see it though?
No. I heard it's good, but...
Slow burn? Not for you then.
Probably not. But I feel that for this type of film, this did a good job. So I'm going to stick up for a little bit. I feel these kind of... this is more... I've made notes in my for my final bits, but I'm going to bring it up now quickly. So these type of films are kind of supposed to be eye-opening and to evoke emotion in the viewer. They're not supposed to be entertaining. You're not supposed to enjoy them. They're supposed to, make you think. And this film did that. So,
So the lucky thing about this film, with everything that the chemical company is doing to local people knowingly, and that is that it's a work of fiction. I mean, it's lucky that something like this would never happen in real life.
yeah, definitely. Because that would be terrible.
I mean, there isn't a company on earth that would be like, well, we know our product that or not product, but something that we're pumping into the water supply is giving people cancer and causing deformities. Company wouldn't do that, would they?
No, 100% not. And if they did, you'd like to think that there'd be like rules in place and regulations and procedures to deal with it quickly and efficiently. Like it wouldn't take, like in this film, it took 7 years, and that was from the point of doing the testing. So I mean, it went on for ages before that.
The first time I saw any kind of year was 1999, and it goes on until 2015.
So I mean, you'd like to think if it did happen in the real world, that'd be shut down nice and quick.
And it would be like the biggest story in the world.
Yeah, and like we wouldn't need films about it to like learn things. I mean, to be fair,
No.
I'm going to break protocol here and admit some stuff. I knew Teflon. Obviously, everyone's heard of Teflon. Everyone knows Teflon is bad. Bad Teflon. But I didn't know anything about the company behind it. Do you know if that's like the real name? Dufont?
It is the real name because when the film came out, their stock went down immensely, like loads of points I saw. But also, I didn't ever know that Teflon was bad. I'd heard of this case because, turns out this is real. It's true. I'd never heard anything bad about Teflon.
Do you not?
No, I'd heard the basics of this case, that there was a company that were pumping shit into the drinking supply that they knew was causing cancer, but no, I didn't ever I never knew it was Teflon. I never knew anything bad about Teflon.
See, I don't watch the news. I hate that fucking show. But even I knew that, about Teflon being bad. I think my parents told me.
Do they still make pans with Teflon then?
I don't know. I'm guessing not.
Something weird I noticed in the film. There's a shot at some point with in Rob's office, and on his wall he's got a pan. Did you see that?
No, didn't notice that.
Yeah, it had like a plaque on it as if it's some sort of award, and it's just hung on his wall behind him at one point.
So, I mean, what's the first scene that you'd like to bring up, Gavin? We'll try and stick chronologically if we can, but we may go all over the place.
I'm not sure with scenes. I can't pin too many out, or really.
See, I asked you that because I've not got too many scenes either. My first note, actually, of a scene is 1 hour, 32 minutes in. So I was hoping you'd have some stuff to talk about before that. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty short podcast.
There's stuff I like throughout. I mean, I like when he goes to see his nan, and it's like, for you getting people to come to me, recommended by you, and I like the cow scene. I found it a bit strange, a little out of sync with the rest of the film. But, I mean, I think it might even be to the detriment of the film if there was big standout scenes. It's about the story as a whole. It's about the journey.
I mean...
Oh, I know a scene that I really liked, actually. There's a good bit where he's just been to... I think he's just confronted the main guy, and he goes back to his car, and he's like really scared to turn the key. He thinks it's going to blow up.
I made a note about this. Yeah, that is 1 hour, 32 minutes in. That's the note I made. That's the first scene I made note of. 1 hour, 32 minutes in, when Rob suspects he is being followed and rushes to his car and then puts the key in the ignition. Gavin Rye, put yourself in Rob's shoes. Or his car, in this case, because that makes more sense. You've just kind of outed this big company. They're a little bit mad at you. And you suspect that they may be willing to blow you up a little bit. You get in your car and you think, oh shit, maybe they've put a bomb in this car. How do you check whether or not there's a bomb there?
I think I'm like him. I don't think he thinks it fully. He thinks it's a possibility, but I'm sure in his head he's like, nah, they're not going to do that. But it's still a bit tense when you turn in that key. Meanwhile, what would you do? Would you be ringing the police?
No, I'd definitely, because like the way you find out whether there's a bomb is to like just turn it, isn't it? Because like if there's a bomb, nothing bad's gonna happen, is it? So you may as well just do it and find out nice and quick.
Well, he doesn't do it quick. He's very anxious about it.
That's where he went wrong. He's just prolonging his agony. Just do it quick.
Yeah, well, people say that about getting in the swimming pool, but I still spend half an hour slowly emerging myself.
I don't know. If I thought genuinely I was being followed and that my car had a bomb in it, I think I might take the bus. But then, do you really want to spend your whole life taking buses, though? You can't live in fear, can you?
No, and like I say, he probably would have got a parking ticket. It's like a parking garage, so you can't afford that.
Yeah. Just die instead. For anyone watching this, if you've got any parking tickets or any fines of any kind, really, or problems of any kind, just blow yourself up. That deals with it.
I got a story that's an equivalent of this. I was a kid, I must have been about 8 or so, and I was around a family friends, like a couple who were a friend of my mum and dad's, and I was sat eating grapes and playing Lego or something, and my parents and the other couple were in the same room but the opposite side, just chatting and having some drinks, whatever. I put a grape in my mouth like that, and it went straight down the back of my throat and just stuck there, lodged there. And I can remember thinking, well, I don't really want to bother my mum and dad, so I'll just stay here, choke. And I just stayed there. I didn't mention it to them, and I just slowly waited for death to come. But then it eventually lodged itself, and I swallowed it, and everything was all right.
I'm going to put it to you that you were never really in any danger.
It was stuck. I couldn't breathe. It was stuck there.
I'm calling a little bit of bullshit, because if you were in proper problems, if you were in problem town, you'd have said something. If you're actually dying.
No, that goes more down to my own personal issues of not liking to bother anybody or talk to anybody. So there's a little bit of that as well. But no, it was definitely lodged in my throat. I could not breathe, and I remember thinking, I don't want to bother people.
So you weren't like gasping for air and like gripping your throat and like panicking in any way? You were very calm?
Ish, to look at. I mean, I was probably freaking out in my head, but no, I didn't. I don't like causing a scene or bothering anybody. You told me earlier I should talk to someone about my issues, so here I am.
Is this podcast now your medium for self-improvement?
I don't need to be self-improved. I mean, I'm already pretty good.
What are you hoping to gain from our time together?
Just finishing it early so I can go to bed.
Well, if we're going to have a whole segment of Let's Help Gav, then, I mean, that's going to prolong, if anything.
I've told you the thing. I've told you the problem. Don't like to bother people. Would rather die painfully clutching my chest or neck.
Well, if you are watching this and maybe you're mid-choke right now, you're watching this, you've got a grape in your neck, just tell someone. That's my advice to you. Just reach out to the nearest person, no matter who it is. Just say. And if you're somebody and like you look around the room right now, and just see if anyone's pulling a face, because maybe they don't want to tell you about it. Maybe they're just sitting there and they're just choking and dying, and maybe you can save somebody.
Or just let them die. There's too many people anyway.
So a brief summary. We're 1 hour, 32 minutes in. He suspects he's being killed because he's taken on this big conglomerate company. And they're doing water things that are bad. And there's death and stuff in animals and humans as well with birth defects. And that sums up the whole 1 hour, 32. Where does it go from there? Go.
It then moves along with kind of showing the small steps that they're taking towards trying this company, because it's at this point that you're getting like a year card every couple of scenes. Really, it's just like a small scene of, like you get 2003, and then there's a scene where there's a small house fire, someone's getting terrorized, and then it's 2004. So I think it does a good job of showing how slow things are going.
Who was the house fire thing? Like, because there's a family and they live, and they suspect that they were meant to get the house that they were in, but got the wrong house because of the same name. Who was that?
I can't remember now, which is bad because they were played by the real people from the story, those two.
There's actually quite a few of them in the film. Quite a few people from the really real world who are in the film, not always playing themselves. Sometimes they're playing other people, but yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, you've got the real Rob. He's in a party scene. He's just in the background, isn't he? I don't think he has any lines.
And his wife, Rob and Sarah.
Yep. You get one of the kids who's been affected by the chemical, born with defects at the gas station.
Bucky Bailey, he's in there. That's the one you're referring to.
And then the couple that I can't remember what their purpose was, but they were the real people.
And you also have Jim Tennant, who is Wilbur's brother. And Wilbur is the farmer from the original scenes who brings the case to Rob.
There's a thing with Wilbur. There's when they have their first day in court, like he's looking quite ill. I think that's about 2004, 2005. I can't remember when, but anyway, it isn't until quite a long time afterwards that he dies. I was surprised that he hung on for that long because he's not looking very good in that scene, and it's quite a few years after that.
I don't know the exact time frame of when he started getting ill and when he died. Don't know. But I mean, these things drag on, don't they?
Yeah, and one of the other things that happens slowly through this time is when they're getting citizens to have their blood tested, and like each of them's getting paid
$400 per person, I believe. And you have to take the blood test, then you get your check.
Yeah, and 69,000 people got tested. But like even during that, there's a bit where I think it's Rob talks to one of the locals, and he says that the company, they're good people. So, people still on their side.
How many you brought with you today, Miss Luann?
My husband and my 3 kids and me.
$2,000. Not too shabby right before Christmas.
Yep. But you ain't gonna find nothing. DuPont's good people. You'll see.
I mean, I suppose if you're looking at it as a piece of entertainment, there isn't a big ending, is there? There isn't the company aren't tried and having to stop doing what they're doing.
I mean, does anyone watch this film in terms of entertainment?
Yeah.
What would you say was entertaining about this film?
I enjoyed it. Do you what? I mean, do you watch a documentary and be entertained? I find documentaries entertaining, even when they're about things that aren't nice.
I find documentaries entertaining when some documentaries I've enjoyed. Jim and Andy. That's a good one.
What's the definition of being entertained to you?
Enjoyment. I mean, that's the bare. You have to enjoy it. It's like happiness, not necessarily happiness, I suppose, because some films you're not happy. No, because like fear, you can enjoy fear, can't you? That's why people go on theme parks. So yeah, enjoyment. I didn't enjoy any part of this film.
I enjoy really depressing films. So
I don't.
I do. I love a good bit of depression in a film.
I can't think of a single depressing movie that I've enjoyed. Give me some titles of depressing films that you think I might have enjoyed. So not like ones that I wouldn't.
I can't think of any that you might have seen. Irreversible's quite depressing. Do you like that?
Yes.
You enjoyed that?
Would I say it's enjoyable? I mean, it's a difficult subject matter, but in any of those rape revenge movies, the revenge part is the highlight. That's the part you enjoy. So yes, it has an element of enjoyment.
Well, it's a tough one, isn't it? That we're using the word enjoy, because there's almost a thing about the word enjoy that makes it sound like you agree with it. It's like, oh, I enjoyed Irreversible. It's like, oh, he likes rape.
No, I enjoyed the revenge part. That film without the revenge would not be an enjoyable film. It might be a good film thematically. It might have a good point. It might, have a good message, but it wouldn't be enjoyable.
I enjoy Come and See.
I did not enjoy Come and See. I gave that a high rating for a film like that. And I still question my rating sometimes. Sometimes I just lay in bed at night thinking about that film and the atrocities. And I haven't really got anything else to say. It's just
lay in bed.
I didn't enjoy it. That's what I'm saying. I did not enjoy it. Come and See.
It's a tough one. I mean, maybe I don't know what my feelings are. I have to talk to Trevor about that. See what comes up.
That'll be next week.
So, I mean, I guess we could just almost get to the end now. I mean,
well, there is one thing before the end. One other note I made. 1 hour 50-ish minutes in, where we didn't bring this up at all, but Rob has some medical issues of his own. He has a seizure and is hospitalized from it. And then there's a nice scene in the hospital where his wife, because him and his wife are having some issues because of the case and because of his addiction to the case. And I quite like this scene where even though they're having issues, the wife kind of sticks up for him, to Tim Robbins' character. What's his name? Tom, I believe. I don't know. I kind of liked that. I found it quite emotional, that scene.
And he was willing to risk all that for a stranger who needed his help. You and I may not know what that is, but it's not failure.
Oddly, I watched this directly after watching Nobody, and I thought the husband and wife had similar relationships.
Without spoilers for Nobody, how so?
Because she doesn't agree with what he's doing, but stays by him, to put it as basic as possible.
Is that the take you took from Nobody? See, we could talk about Nobody for a long time, but I didn't get that from that. I took it more as she missed that side of him, and that's why the relationship was failing. And then when it started to come back, she was a bit more interested.
Well, that scene where he's sending them off in the car and she's clearly pissed at him and says, "We'll talk about this later. Make sure you come home." I mean, that's clearly she's pissed off with him. She's not happy about this, but she's sticking by him. She's understanding.
I've got so much to say about this, but we can't discuss that film on this. And Nobody is not even in the roster. Somebody watching this, suggest Nobody so that me and Gavin can debate the couple's relationship.
So then, he gets the phone call from the science department, who have been taking their sweet-ass time about it, but they confirm that, yep, all of this is true. It is causing cancer. They clearly knew. And that's like a big moment for him. That's what he's been waiting for. But even after that, DuPont? Is it DuPont? DuPont. Anyway, the company, they renege every claim, which I was meant to look up what that meant. I can't remember.
It just means fight every. Basically, it takes money and time and stuff to take companies to court. So if they say no, then you have to take them to court rather than just giving them money. I think I'm no expert, but that's my understanding.
To go back or compromise, to revoke, to make a denial. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, they basically deny it. So I guess there's going to be so many claims as well that I think they mention it, don't they, that some people are going to be too sick to want to testify against them. Some are literally going to die. So yeah, they are kind of just getting away with it.
And it's still going on today. Rob Billett is still today fighting these cases in court. So the company behind it are still kind of dragging their heels and being a little bitch about it. But still going on.
You get some facts at the very end that's quite amazing. It's in 99% of humans, this stuff.
Yeah, that's I made a note of that, which is a pretty scary statistic. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, Gavin, but there's two of us, 99% of two. I mean, the chances are pretty high that we're both fucked. Well, not fucked, but we've both got it in our blood.
I haven't. I had a look.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just put my camera down. And look, there weren't any there. I'm all right. I'm part of the 1%.
I suppose in the film it shows you what it looks like, doesn't it? It's those C's with a line. C line, C line, C line.
C8.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's the abbreviated C8. But you don't, if you look at it in your blood, you're not looking for C8. That's the abbreviated. You're looking for C line, C line, C line. That's what it looks like.
Okay. Well, I was just looking. I can tell what it is. You know, like if you see a glass of Coke, you know, oh, it's a glass of Coke. But I didn't see any C8 in me.
Or PFOA.
Yeah, none of that either. I'm good.
All right, one actual issue that I didn't write down, but I've just remembered. When Rob first not first, but after a while of back and forth, when he finally gets all those boxes sent to him, put yourself in the shoes of the DuPont company. You know all of this evidence exists of your nefarious activities. A, would you not burn all of these boxes of things? And B, if you weren't going to burn them, would you just send them to someone who's trying to sue you?
Well, on the second point, I think that I do believe they legally had to.
Yeah, but they could have got lost during the delivery process or something, couldn't they?
Well, like he says in there, there's so much of it, they assumed he wouldn't go through it at all.
It's quite a risk to take.
Well, I mean, I guess they've got to keep... I was going to say they've got to keep all of their stuff legally, but I'm guessing they're already doing some massive illegal stuff anyway.
Exactly.
But I mean, they must have done it. I mean, I don't know how different the real life story is to the film, but I can only assume.
I assume it is real. It's based on a real story, and I mean, to have so many real people in it and stuff, and keep all the same names, it must be pretty factual. So I'm not contesting that it happened. I'm just contesting the IQ of the people who did it.
Don't know. I mean, I guess they just never thought they would be sued. They thought they were above it, as they almost are. I mean, probably never get any proper justice for it, will they? Hopefully they will, but they'll probably constantly be above it. They'll all still be getting their massive checks, all the CEOs, enjoying the money, killing the little people.
Yeah. Well, we've ended on a nice positive note. So, we've already been to Keir Mills once, but I think we're going to go again. I can't get enough of him. So, I said the last one was going to be the last time, didn't I? So we can't do it.
And it is.
I'm just going to cut back to last cheer, but we're going to have that again now. So give a cheer for Keir. To care.
Dark Waters, released at the tail end of 2019 and beginning to make a few murmurs in the UK cinemas at the start of 2020, this movie is clearly, yet again, another cinematic victim of COVID. Just as word of mouth was really beginning to pick up, everything shut down. Ironic, really, considering the subject matter. An environmental disaster, a medical emergency is afoot in backcountry Cincinnati. And Mark Ruffalo's character, up-and-coming, little bit wet behind the ears Robert Billett, is tasked to find out exactly what is going on and bring the culprits to justice. And being that the culprits are DuPont, one of America's, and indeed the world's, largest chemical companies, this immediately appears like it might not be the easiest case to close. This is going to require a fair bit of huffing and puffing and shouting and lid-sitting in order to get those latches to snapshot. However, that does mean that we, the viewers, are in for one helluva ride. So just sit back and enjoy, if you like this sort of movie, which I absolutely root and toot and do. It's Erin Brockovich, and by that I do not mean that it is Erin Brockovich set to the music of Avicii. It's Spotlight-esque, all the President's Men like. It's The Post type affair. It's Philadelphia on a farm. It is quite literally not Philadelphia on a farm, but I was running out of comparable colloquialisms. You get what I mean. Its underdogs take on the big bad wolves. And it is frankly excellent. What really makes these movies work, what sets apart a civil action with John Travolta, with your Michael Claytons, is the ability of the lead to carry the entire weight of moral justice on their shoulders throughout the entirety of the running time, convincingly and most importantly, engagingly. Something that, like George Clooney and the aforementioned Michael Clayton, Mark Ruffalo does with palpable mastery. The nervous energy he brings to the role, the deer-in-the-headlight moments his character experiences as he realises quite what he is up against, the human weaknesses he exudes as the film opens up is a masterclass of pacing and control. Credit to director Todd Haynes as well for coaxing such a stellar performance out of him. Now, I've always had a soft spot for Todd Haynes ever since the divisive Velvet Goldmine, but surely this is his best work to date. And the supporting cast don't let anyone down either. You have Tim Robbins playing Tim Robbins, like Tim Robbins always plays Tim Robbins. But at least you know what you're going to get with him. Anne Hathaway also puts in one of her stronger performances. Sometimes she does have a habit of chewing the hell out of the scenery, but not here. Here, she pictures it perfectly. Save for one scene in the hospital where her character goes in a bit hard on old Tim Robbins, a little bit unfairly. But I feel that is a slight script issue and not an acting one. And Bill Camp is simply brilliant as the farmer who has lost everything. The moment where he frantically waves a helicopter away from his property, maniacally screaming and spitting and frothing at the mouth like a rabid dog, or more accurately, one of his afflicted cows, is superb. And Bill Pullman appears in a minor role as well. And any time Bill Pullman appears in anything, it is usually a good thing. A rule that is once again proven correct. There is also a tiny role for William Jackson Harper. Yes, that's Chidi from TV's The Good Place. And his character, at one point, really does let himself down in the boardroom. You see, Chidi, this is why you don't belong in The Good Place. Yes, you have seen films like this before. And does this film throw up any special twists or surprises? Well, no. Not in the format of the film. You know where this is heading. You know that the main aim of the movie is to expose a secret. And it is more than likely that by the end of the movie, you know that this goal will be accomplished. However, the real shock comes from exactly what this secret is. The information that is given to us at the end of the movie lands a factual blow of which I am still amazed and find it difficult to comprehend. The movie is based on the article The Lawyer That Became DuPont's Worst Nightmare by Nathaniel Rich, and quite what they both report DuPont were guilty of is nothing short of horrendous. A truly callous, unthinkable act of malfeasance that will reverberate for generations to come, and quite possibly until the end of time. This is one of the most enlightening movies, one of the most patient, one of the most unafraid movies of the last decade. And in my opinion, one of the best and underseen movies of the last year. There is no room for any self-congratulatory epiphanies here, as the film lays bare the abhorrent truth that faces the victims affected by this scandalous corruption that lurked in the shadows of their town and beyond. You will receive money. You will receive compensation. You will receive medical assistance and treatment for your ills. But this, of course, will mean that you will have to suffer them. The reparations come at a cost of your suffering, not the other way around. It is thickly bittersweet, and a note of sombre and sobering bluntness in which we leave this rural blister. Save for one final comment. Cracking choice of Johnny Cash song there at the end. Well done, music supervisor. Laters.
So that was Keir Mills, back again with another excellent segment. He brought up a few things that I'd like to mention. First off, The Good Place, which I did actually notice, but I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot. The actor who plays Chidi from The Good Place. Have you seen The Good Place, Gavin?
No.
You should. It's very good.
Yeah, I've seen it on in the background occasionally, but no interest.
And also, he brought up the scene in the hospital where the wife is a bit hard on Rob. So, final thoughts. What did you think of the film? Actually, I'm going to go first because I ain't got that much to say. It was all right. For the type of film it is, it does a fine job. It's very slow, but it's supposed to be slow. It's not enjoyable, but it's not supposed to be enjoyable. It's like a documentary. You brought up documentaries earlier, and do I enjoy them? This film is about as close to a documentary as you can get without it being a documentary. And as that, it does what it's supposed to do. So I can't be too hard on it. But I just don't enjoy these types of movies very much. Acting, all of that is fine. Really, all you can judge it on, if you're not a fan of the genre, is whether or not it does what it sets out to do. I feel it does. It's quite thought-provoking. It does bring up a few things that I didn't know about the actual case. And there are a few emotional moments in the film. But just a simple fact that it's not my type of film, I have given it a 6 out of 10. How about you?
Okay. Well, I do like this kind of film, much like Keir. I enjoy a nice slow build where we're slowly fed the information, and especially more so with the fact that I had a very small amount of knowledge of this case. Very little, to be honest. I just knew there was a case like this going on, or had gone on. So, yeah, just the reveal of things and how far it went. Like, I had no idea a company would ever knowingly give people cancer and make them have deformed babies by having pregnant women clean their Teflon machines or whatever it was. So I enjoyed that, and yeah, like you said, it does work almost on a documentary level. It gives you a lot of information that maybe you didn't know and shines some light on a very important situation. The acting I thought was solid all around. I like Mark Ruffalo. I know you're not a massive fan, but I like him. And Hathaway, I do like her. I don't think she has a ton to do here, really. She's like in a few scenes as the wife, but I think she's put in the background maybe a little too much.
I think in the first half she's very backgroundy, but I feel she has a bit more input into the story in the second half.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. I was enthralled the whole time. No boring points for me at all. I didn't even find it all that slow, to be honest. And I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10.
So you've given it 8 out of 10. That halved is 4. I gave it 6 out of 10. That halved is 3. 4 plus 3 equals 7 out of 10 is the overall CKFC rating. And looking at the ratings on here, that puts it pretty much level with Juno, La Haine, Run, and The Personal History of David Copperfield. All got 7 out of 10. So that's level with all of those.
That's a better film than most of those, I think, in my opinion. I'm guessing they're all your low scores that have brought them down.
You can make your own list. This is the combined ratings. So all we need to do, Gavin, is to pick next week's film. But to do that, we're not going to use the random number generator. No, because what is happening on the 25th of April?
Oscars.
That guy, Oscar, he's back. He pops up every year, doesn't he? Oscar. What's your favourite film with an Oscar in it?
Sesame Street, the movie.
Oscar the Grouch. Yeah. Mine would be Ghostbusters 2. The baby is called Oscar.
Oh. Very good.
Yeah. We almost called our son Oscar. It was between Oscar and Dexter. Fun fact. Well, not really fun for anyone watching this. Unless you're Dexter watching this in the future. That might be fun for you. So, with the Oscars coming up, what we're going to do next week is watch and review whatever film wins the Best Picture award, if we can. I mean, there's a lot of films. Some of them are readily available, some are not.
Let's hope The Father wins. That's the best one so far I've seen.
I've not seen them all, but my prediction for what is going to win, Gavin, is Nomadland. So, that's pretty much all we got to do. Join us next week for Oscars week. We might do some awards as well. We might give the award for, I don't know, the best Gavin on the Cool Kids Film Club podcast.
What about the best cheer for Keir?
Oh, no, because that would require going through loads of other videos. And if you're watching this, give us a suggestion for an award we can do. Let's do a thing now. How many suggestions do you think we'll get? We won't put this up anywhere, just in this video for anyone watching now. How many people do you think will actually watch this and put up a suggestion up?
None.
I'm going to go 1. I reckon Keir might. So Keir, if you're watching this, give us an award.
Keir, don't do it, because then I'll win.
Pretty much, if Keir does it, I win. If Keir doesn't do it, you win. We're basically making a podcast just for Keir, aren't we?
A podcast that Keir feels obliged to watch.
Bye!
See you later, alligator.
This is the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. Watch films with